You ever get your power bill, open it up, and just stare at it? Like, how is it this high? Who even comes up with these prices? Well, it turns out the answer is kind of a mystery, hidden right there in plain sight. And trust me, it's probably not what you think. And this question, man, it just cuts right to the chase, doesn't it? It gets to the very heart of the matter. It suggests there's this hidden power struggle going on behind the scenes, and it totally sets the stage for everything we're about to uncover. So to solve this mystery, we've got to go where the action is. Think of it as our crime scene, if you will. We're heading to Meghalaya, a state in India, where a massive fight over electricity prices gives us all the clues we need to crack this power paradox wide open. 4.90. Okay, just remember that number. It might not seem like much now, but believe me, it is the key that unlocks this entire story. So what is that number? Well, that is the special, incredibly cheap rate that some very large, very powerful industries were paying for their electricity. It's the kind of deal that you and I, well, we could only dream of getting. And this really shows you the massive gap. On one side, you've got that sweet industrial deal. On the other side, the price for a regular home is just listed as far higher. We're not talking about a small difference here. We are talking about a canyon. So you're probably wondering, how do they keep these ridiculously cheap rates? Well, they fight for them in court. Back in July 2022, a court actually sided with the power company to get rid of these special rates. But just 2 months later, that decision was reversed. And for the next few years, the industries just kept fighting it. And as of today, the whole case is still pending. And here's the kicker. All that delay, it totally works in their favor, keeping those low rates locked in. The whole thing just feels fundamentally unfair, right? So how does it even work? Well, get ready, because this is the aha moment. We're about to unmask the economic sleight of hand that makes all of this possible. It's a little something called the inverted subsidy. Okay, so first, let's just talk about a regular subsidy, the way it's supposed to work. A subsidy is basically financial aid from the government. The official policy, the goal, is to use them to keep costs low for the public, especially for poor households who really need the help. Simple enough, right? But here's the twist. An inverted subsidy flips that whole idea completely on its head. This is what happens when the state ends up giving subsidies to for-profit industries instead. And to make up for that lost money, regular households are forced to pay the full unsubsidized price. Yeah, you end up paying more to cover their discount. I mean, just look at this contrast. On the left, you have the stated government policy. Power should be subsidized for poor households. But on the right, you have the actual practice. Power is subsidized for industries that lobby. The gap between what's promised and what's really happening could not be more clear. So a pretty logical question has to be popping into your head right about now. Shouldn't someone be preventing this? I mean, where's the guardian? Where's the watchdog that's supposed to protect the public interest? Well, that question brings us to a really critical and often completely invisible part of the problem. And it has a name: regulatory capture. It sounds kind of technical, but the idea is actually pretty simple. It's when a government agency, one that was created to serve you, the public, is instead influenced or even controlled by the very industry it's supposed to be regulating. Basically, the referee is now playing for the other team. You know, this quote from our source material is just so sharp. It basically argues that the way power prices are set up, it isn't an accident. It's not a mistake. It is a deliberate choice that reveals who the government is really prioritizing. So we've dug into the politics, we've looked at the economics, but what does all of this mean for the person at the end of the line, the one actually flipping the light switch at home? Let's connect all these dots back to the very real price that households are forced to pay. So what do the industries get out of this deal? It's simple, really. They get subsidized, reliable power. That is a massive competitive advantage, and it's paid for by someone else. And what do households get in return? Let's take a look. Tariffs that just keep on rising to help pay for those industry subsidies. You often get frequent power cuts because the whole system is strained. And maybe worst of all, there's no regulatory body that's truly fighting in your corner. The contrast is it's staggering. Now, here's the thing. This isn't just a story about some faraway place. This kind of dynamic can exist anywhere. So now we're going to shift from just explaining the problem to giving you the tools to become a tariff detective in your own community. And here's how you can do it. Step 1, just ask. What is the tariff structure where you live? Who pays what? Step 2, verify. Grab your own power bills and look for any hidden charges or strange fees. And step 3, challenge. Demand transparency from your local regulators. Make them publish all the rates side by side for everyone to see. Which leaves us with one last big question. When you pay your bill each month, who does your power provider really serve? Is it the public, like they're supposed to? Or is it the powerful few who've been captured? The answer, as it turns out, is right there in the numbers.